Perfect day today. Welcome or welcome back. Today I am doing the last wedding. Oh! The last wedding for who knows how long. This is the last one I said yes to. I've explained the reasons on Patreon. So I feel like I'm not quite ready to put that out there completely. Anyways, it's a fairly small order. So it's a bouquet, an arbor, and 2 ground arrangements. So it's not a big order, thankfully. Hi, Puss. Hello. What are you doing? Let me talk you through the flowers. Look how pretty it is. So the theme is obviously green and white. Got these beautiful roses, and these are actually scented. Oh, look, there's a little spider. Oh, they smell so good. I feel very lucky to have got those. Some of them got a bit damaged and they're brown. That's the thing with white roses. So luckily I bought 2, like I've bought 20. Then I've got these little spray roses, but they only had 4 heads and one of them is looking a bit worse for wear. So that'll probably just get hidden in amongst the arbor where it won't be seen. I can't remember what this was called. I need to pop that up on the screen. I've got lamb's ear. That's really the sagey colour she wants. We've got some delphinium, and it's for what I'm thinking, it's at the perfect stage. I wanted it to be open, which is really good. And then we've got a couple that have the little buds still on top. The white lisianthus, the feverfew, which I won't put much in, just a tiny little bit. It was in her inspiration pick. It was in 2 of her inspiration picks. Hello, Puss, you're back. And then baby's breath. I'm not happy with this though. I accidentally ordered the wrong one. I ordered the Australian one. I know everybody advocates to support Australia, don't buy imported flowers, but the Australian gypsophila that I can get at the wholesaler, I don't like it. I like the imported one. It's a nicer variety and it's always perfectly fresh, whereas this one isn't. And I'm going to lose half of it cutting out the brown pieces. Oh, what else have we got? Italian ruscus? I'm going to put, this will be up on the screen. It's in really good condition. I got that. It's the greenest green in her arrangement. Then I've got jasmine vine. That's from our garden. Some eucalpytus from our garden. More eucalpytus. And I think that's it. So that's what we're working with today. I'm going to just set this camera up. I'm going to set up the space. I'm going to soak the floral foam. Yes, I am using floral foam. And we're going to get into it. I want to show you how to set up the floral foam. So I'm doing these for the ground arrangement. So they're having the arbor. I'm doing the corner piece up in the arbor and 2 sort of large, medium to large, kind of wild looking floral pieces to sit on the ground in front of the arbor. They've got some pillars with candles and stuff. I'll film it when we get there so you'll see it all. But what I do is I put like a plastic base on the piece of foam. You can buy foam in cages with bases and all those kinds of things. I just found it was more versatile to just buy a box of foam and then you just make your own whatever you need, rather than every time you do something you need to go and buy the specific piece. So I never have to worry about that. Other than the wreaths, I do buy the foam wreath forms, because that would be a nightmare trying to make a foam wreath by yourself. So I'll talk you through how to do this. So you need a piece of plastic. I know, more plastic. There's just plastic everywhere. You just want it big enough to fit the base. So I'll just cut that piece off. So then what you want to do is pop your piece of foam on it. And you will need some wet tape, floral tape, and cut yourself off a few pieces because you're just going to tack it on to begin with. And what I do is I only really want it to come up that, maybe not even that high. I just want it up a little bit. So I'll bring it round and just fold that. This is tricky because this plastic is a lot thicker than I usually use. So you want to do that, tuck it in, bring the side up, and use a piece to tack. So you this is just to hold things in place for now. Just tack it around there, and then this side. And then to make sure it's really secure, I will wrap it around the whole thing and pull it a bit more tight. And that's how it looks. So that stops things leaking through the bottom if they were to be sitting it on fabric or anything on a table. This couple had quite a small budget for their wedding. So what I suggested to them was, why don't we make these pieces, and then while you're between the ceremony and the reception, ask somebody to cut it down off the arbor. They can put that in front of themselves on their table, and then they'll have these ground arrangements they can use as well. So just in case it ends up inside, I'm putting a base on everything to keep it clean for them. So I'll do this to the other one, and then I'll show you how to set up the base for the arbor. When you're working with wet stuff like this, it is really helpful if you have a little towel on your apron just to keep drying your hands on, to try to keep things dry. For the piece for the arbor, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to wrap it in the plastic on the bottom, but I'm adding some stabilizing pieces along each edge. So I've got some bamboo here. There'll be a piece that goes on each corner, and that's so when I tie it up with the cable ties don't rip through the piece of foam and cut it in half, and then the whole arrangement falls on the ground. This is going to stop those cable ties from pulling through the foam. You can see how this cable tie is starting to pull through the foam. That's what's going to happen if you don't put those on the corners. So you want to get that round on the corner, and you kind of need to set the first tie up to get that on the corner because it'll slip. And you want to get this one on the bottom down on the corner. The back one doesn't matter as much, it's this front one. So you end up with something that looks like this. So you've got, look, if you didn't want to put them inside the plastic, you don't have to. You can put it on the outside. It'll actually be easier. But you can see in there that that plastic is filling up with water. And the reason that is because as you stick things, that foam is completely filled with water. As you poke things into it, like stems, or as I've pushed these into the corners, it starts pushing the water out. So what I now do is I work on a towel. So I'll put a towel down in my space. I'll work on top of that. And then I tip the arrangement sideways. I prop it up a little bit and I'll leave it for a couple of hours to drain out so that it's not then draining out all through my car and then all through somebody's wedding. So just be mindful of that. The last thing I'll do to finish prepping this, I'll cut the ties off and then I attach some through there so I can get them in later to hang it up. These just stay like this because otherwise when we get to the venue, I will be looking for where these little loops are, and then at the venue, because eventually that will be what holds it onto the pole. We'll cable tie it around. So that's the mechanics for how I do a arbor piece. Now that we've done this, I'm just going to set all the foam aside and we're going to work on the bouquet. The bride sent me some inspiration photos. I'll pop them up very quickly. So she wanted green and white. The only thing that I know about white flowers, it is a little bit tricky to get pure white. There's always usually some other tone in with it. And inspiration photos have been edited, and I know this because I used to be a wedding photographer. So I know that they want the whites really white, so you edit them to be whiter than they really are. So these inspiration pics, it's like pure white, and you've kind of got to explain that, you know, that's not really that common in nature. So anyway, I have been lucky. I've got some really nice white florals, which I've gone through already, and she really loved King Proteas, and she wanted native flowers. The thing is, I'd mentioned to her that the King Proteas are quite large, and she said she's got small hands, so we've crossed that out. But I've got the roses, I've got the lisianthus, and I've got some other little bits and pieces, so it'll look really pretty. I am going to work on that now, and it'll be something about this size. So let's pick out our florals. I'm going to use the scented roses. There's the one with the spider. I gave it a sniff. I better get it off. No one's going to want a spider on their bouquet. It's not going to go. Get off. So I'll use these scented ones in her bouquet because it's going to be near her. She'll smell them. So I'm going to pick out a few of those. I'll show you the inspiration photos. This one had roses and peonies, but it's actually a faux bouquet. You can tell that it's not real flowers. She probably couldn't tell that. This is one of mine. She liked that, which is good. Another King Protea with the roses and a little bit of eryngium and some gum. She doesn't want the blue. And here's another one, and I will do hers very similar to this. So it'll have mainly roses. I couldn't get any of this. This is another faux bouquet, but ours will look very similar. It just won't be as, you know, titanium dioxide white. So I'm starting off with these 6 roses. The very cool thing about these is they have opened up to the perfect stage for me to use, and I won't reflex anything. And I really don't like reflexed roses. I may, on the ground arrangements, just turn back a couple of outer levels or spin them or blow into them. But for the bouquet, this is nice. It looks good because other things kind of cradle around them. For the roses, we want the absolute best looking specimens in the bouquet. That might be enough Lizzie's actually.
Welcome.
Come on. Yes.
These are the Arbors. Aren't they gorgeous? I love them. Have to look into growing those. They don't have a scent. I don't know if they would normally, but these ones don't. A little bit of baby breath, I've got it. And I might use some of this that has the little pieces on top, just a little bit. So that's what I've got, the Arbors, roses, Lizzie's, a little bit of delphinium, the ruscus, baby's breath, the silver gum, and then I'll just pull other things out as I need it. So I'm going to start with a rose. That's the issue with the white roses. If they get crushed, they will get a, like the crease mark goes brown, and it's very visible on white roses. Might cut them down a little bit. Because bouquets are delicate, I make them differently to how I do bouquets to sell to the public, like just, you know, standard bouquets. A bridal bouquet typically would need to look a lot more delicate. So for me, I cut it into smaller pieces. Like I make sure, and I mean, I may even take one of those heads off later and not use it, just use the one. because you don't want a whole heap of like the same flower in one little spot, or I don't anyway. Each piece of ruscus I can cut in half and turn it into 2 pieces. Those 2 pieces are probably better suited to the arbor. This is why I don't like this gypsophila. It's the same one that we grow. Oh, it's just a pain. It has so many little tiny leaves all over it, and you can't just run your finger down and strip it because it'll snap the stems because of all these little junction points. So it's a very time consuming flower to prep. I'm going to try and put you over my shoulder for this so you can see what I'm doing right here. I just have to try and stay in view. That's the hard part. All right, we're going to start with roses. Oh, that's got really crushed petals. I need to pull that petal out. Probably that one too. You want your wedding flowers to be perfect. Like, don't take little shortcuts on that at all. What I'm going to do is just grab a little piece of everything, pop it in, and move it around. So it's the same as when we build bouquets for roadside or whatever else we're doing, but this time it's a lot more little tiny pieces, and I'm being a lot more, what would you say, like mindful of exact placement of where they're going to go. Okay, so I've put a little bit of ruscus there. It's not doing as well in amongst the bouquet. Oh, I could get so carried away and just build this forever, you know. And she needs to be the star of the show, not the flowers. They just need to complement her. Okay, we can probably get that last rose in here. Yep, looks lovely. Probably need another Lizzie. We're a little bit heavy on the lisianthus over this side. I need something floaty here, that's not long enough. How's it looking? We've got a gap here. Oh, it smells so good. Very happy so far. Okay. We need a Lizzie over here. I've got that double header. Will I pop that in? Or is it too much? No, I think it's okay. I'm going to have to poke it down though. So when you're poking things in, just sort of twist them with your hand down here, and it just loosens them off getting stuck on any flowers on their way down, so you don't damage anything. But that looks really good. We just need something to cradle those roses in with there. Is a little bit sparse. I'll put that in there. I mean, I think this delphinium's too big. Yeah, it is. What could I do? How would it look with another piece of this in there? Not too much. Yeah, I think I'll just frame it out with eucalyptus now. Okay, I think I need to stop. It's getting big. And she's not huge by any means. And I think that's the way it will hang. So you won't really see these ones down low, but what they do is, the bride will have a view of her bouquet that's different to other people. And so her hands feel like they've been covered up a little bit. It's not just bare stems underneath. So they don't really do much in terms of the front view, but when you look down here it'll look prettier. Just tie that off quite tight. Okay, there we go, we're stable. Now, just to be sure, I'm going to put a second one around. I'll go cut that and then we'll just get the ribbon. And I'm just doing a little bit, I'm not doing much ribbon. And that is the vase her bouquet will come in. Next piece to work on is the arbor, and she wants something quite small just in one corner. So these are the inspiration shots. Oh, that's just a kitchen that I like. So she just wants that one piece. So green, it's mainly foliage. I am, of course, putting more flowers in it than I should, because I can't help myself. Okay, so we're going to do it. It's all going to be in one block of foam. I'm just going to put it together. So what I do is I build the base first with all the foliage, and then I start adding in the flowers. Keeping in mind, it's not going to be straight, it's going to have a curve to go on a corner. So this is going to go like this. And we're going to start with some eucalyptus and ruscus. I'm looking for eucalyptus pieces that already have the drape shape about it. And anything that's not right, I'm going to cut it off. That one's poking up. Those ones won't matter, they're small, but they are in the way of where I need to poke it in the foam. So off they come. So this one's going to go in through the back, just right there. And we just slowly build it up. Let's have a look. It's going to drip out water. Let me just drain it for a minute. Okay. Okay. That is really pretty. Now for these two ground arrangements. So they're just going to be sort of a big, I might do one over here and one here. They're just going to be big. Start by making the base. I can hear kids screaming and I'm not sure if they're mine or not. I think I should have done a half block. I think I might actually cut that back to work with here. I think that's a good size. So we're just going to start with the small pieces to cover the base. this is so if the bride and groom do end up using this as part of their table setting, they're not staring at a bare back. Something so they have a little something to look at. Done. These are the two ground arrangements. So they're just kind of rambling. I've got some more this jasmine to put in when I get there, just make it a little bit more wild looking. And the other piece, I've got some extra stuff if anything needs to go into that. And the bouquet, which is looking so pretty. I'll go now, have lunch, get ready, get changed, and then pretty much we'll need to head off. Got to somehow fit all of this in the boot of the car, plus 2 ladders. That might be a challenge, but we'll see how we go. Flowers delivered, she loved them. And the photographer that's doing the wedding, I know her. I haven't seen her for years though. We're here, the arch isn't up, and all of us have turned up at the same time and there's no car parking. I'm parked in a no parking zone. So we're gonna see how this goes. I didn't tell you before how I have everything packed. I'm not gonna be able to film it, but I might be able to just do a little bit at the end to show you how I've put the arbor up, the arch up, but there's a lot of people down there feeling stressed, so I probably shouldn't set up a camera. And I'll share some photos.
Yeah, they used to steal gnomes and they used to do other things.
You can see the back. I've got the little ties on each side of the foam. I've looped in cable ties, so one there and one up the top, and that's how it's attached. Oh yeah, they look good. It looks really nice. See yous, have fun tonight.